How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Nun Aleph, Daf 51 of Masechet Nedarim, friends. Well, today we're gonna continue talking about what happened at Reb Shimon Rebbe's chasana. So we're gonna talk about that, and also other Nedarim kinds of things. Friends, let's jump in. We're gonna start on Daf Nun Amud Beis. Excuse me. Shtickle Babylon, man. Alright. So we start in Daf Nun Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom. Yoma de Mechayich Bei Rebbe Asir Pranusa La'alma. Interesting. On a day that Rebbe laughs, bad things happen in the world. Amalei Lebar Kapar. So Rebbe says to Bar Kapar, Los Abdichon, don't make me laugh. V'ayivna loch, I boin grive chite. And as long as you don't make me laugh, I will give to you 40 measures of wheat. Amalei lech zemar, d'chol griva de beina shakilna. And Bar Kapara says, all right, but I reserve the right to use any size measure that I want. Right? A measure is pretty vague. It could be a small measure, a big measure. He says, I reserve the right to use whatever size measure I'd like. Shakal tikula rabas. He took a big gesunte basket. Chafye kufra, and he finished it with tar or something, pitch. V'sachve al reishe, and he flipped it over. V'azal, and he went to Rebbe. Okay, he took a big basket that he could put a lot of wheat in. V'amar leichil li mar habayin grive chite darshina boch. And Bar Kapara comes and he says, okay, I want my 40 measures of wheat. Achuch Rebbe laughed. Omelav azhartcha delo tibadchon. And Rebbe says, didn't I tell you, don't make me laugh? Omelechite dershina ka nosivne. He says, look, I still want my wheat. That's the incident. Omele Bar Kapara levarte the Rebbe. Bar Kapara said to Rebbe's daughter, Lemocher shasina chamer birikude de avuch v'kirkone de imach. Tomorrow I will be drinking wine at the chasana of your brother, where your father will be dancing and your mother will be singing. Ben elaso chasani de Rebbe hava v'osher gadol hava. Now the Gemara introduces us to Ben Elasa, the son-in-law of Rebbe, and he was very, very wealthy. Azmene Levei Hilula de Reb Shimon Rebbe. Now, Bar Kapara was invited to the chasana of Reb Shimon Rebbe. Omerle Bar Kapara Rebbe. Now Bar Kapara says to Rebbe at the chasana, "My to'eva." When the pasuk says to'eva, what does that mean? So, Kol Omerle Rebbe the hachin hu to'eva parcha Bar Kapara. Now, however Rebbe would try to explain what to'eva means, like an abomination, but what that means, Bar Kapara would ask kashas. Omer le parshe atz. Rebbe says to Bar Kapara, "Nu, so tell me, what's to'eva?" Omer le teisi devischi tirmeli natla. So he says, well, wait up, not so fast. Let your wife come and fill up my cup with drinks. Also, so she came, Ramile, and she filled up his cup. Omar le Rebbe kum rikod li de emar loch. And then Bar Kapara then says, now come, Rebbe, dance for me, and then I'll tell you. And then he says, Hachi Omer Achmana To'eva Toya Atarba. Okay, what does it mean? To'eva, it means that you are straying with it. L'chas Achrina Omer le. And then Bar Kapara wanted another cup. So I assume it's a cup of wine, right? You want another cup of wine. So Omer le, so he says to Rebbe, my tevel. What does it mean when the pasuk says tevel? By a woman who sleeps with an animal. So Omar le ki anyosa kadma. So once again, Rebbe had tried to answer it and it didn't work. Bar Kapara was asking him kasha. So Omar le ivid li de Omer loch. And Bar Kapara says, no, do again what I suggested to you earlier. Dance a shtickle avad. So he did. Omer le tevel hu tavlin yeshba. So Bar Kapara says, what does tevel mean? It means tavlin yeshba. What? Was it so givaldik? Was it so spicy and gishmak? Mishanya ado bia min kulon bios. What is this that much better than any other bia? Omar lei umay zima. Bar Kapara says to Rebbe, and what's the word zima? Omar lei ivid ki inyana kadma'a. And Bar Kapara says, no, do like the earlier things that you did, dance and things like that. Avad Rebbe did it. Omar lei, and Bar Kapara says, zo mahi. It says zima means what is this? Lo yochel ben el asa lemizbal kam v'nofak hu v'inse mitaman. Ben Elase felt very uncomfortable with Bar Kapara treating his father-in-law Rebbe in this way, having him, guess and dance around and all these things. So Ben Elasa and his wife, Rebbe's daughter, left. My Ben Elasa, apparently Ben Elasa had this special haircut, and what's the deal with the haircut? The Tanis we learn in the Brisa lo lechinam pizer Ben Elasa es ma'osav. Ben Elasa did not just scatter around his money for no reason. He wanted to demonstrate what the haircut of a high priest is. The pasuk says, "Kasum yichsemu es roshem," that they have to cut their hair. Tana ke'ein lulyonis, that it's like lulyonis. My lulyonis, what's lulyonis? Amr Yehuda tisparta yichidas. It was a very unique kind of haircut. Hey Chidami, what is this unique haircut? On my Rav, says Rav, Rosh Shelze b'tzadikar Shelze, that the top of each strand of hair would reach the bottom of the next one. Okay, fine. And that is the haircut of a high priest. Sounds like an interesting haircut. Alright. Vidlas Ramutza and Ramutza gourds. My Dlas Ramutza, what's a Ramutza gourd? Amr Shmuel, Shmuel, Kara Karkozoi. It's a Carcosian gourd. Rav Ashi Omer says, Rav Ashi Dlasa Atmuna Beremetz. It's a gourd that is insulated in hot ashes. Hot ashes. Hot ashes. Hot ashes. Hot ashes. Hot ashes. Is that part, as part of a niggin? Is that part of the niggin, wish you were here? Hot ashes for something. Is that right? Ravina has the kasha of Rav Ashi, right? So Rav Ashi says that it's a gourd insulated in hot ashes. Ravina says, Reb Nechemia Omer, he quotes a brisa where Reb Nechemia says, Tlas Aramis, he Tlas Amitzvus, that Aramean gourd is Egyptian gourd. Kilayim im hayavanis. Now it would be kilayim if you mix it together with Egyptian gourd. Kilayim im ramutza, and it's also kilayim if you mix it together with a ramutza gourd, which implies that a ramutza gourd is a specific kind of gourd, not just a gourd that is in hot ashes. Tiyufta, it's therefore a kasha on Rav Ashi. Says the new Mishnah, Anoder mimaise kedera in osir ela mimaise raschasa. Well, actually, this was a quote from our previous Mishnah. For some reason, it's duplicated here. That somebody says he's not going to get benefit from maise kedera, from porridge. So he's only not. So he's forbidden from getting benefit from very well boiled porridge, I guess. Omar konema yored likdera. But if he says anything that goes into a pot, well, in that case, shani toim, he says that he's not going to eat it. Also b'chol anaisa b'kedera. Then he's not allowed to get benefit from anything that is made in a pot. Tani, we learn in the price, a fellow who makes a neder from anything that goes into a pot, also biyorid le'ilpa, so he can't eat anything that goes into a pan. Shekvar yorid le'keder, because anything that goes into a pan goes into a pot first. And therefore, memele, if he's not allowed to get anything from benefit from anything that goes into a pot, so he can't get anything that goes into a pan, because anything that went into a pan already went into a pot. But if he says that only I'm not going to get benefit from something that went into a pan, well, the minayorid la'ilpus, what? Wait, where am I? Kodem sheyorid la'ilpus, minayorid la'ilpus, what? Did I skip? Wait, where am I? Another minayorid la'kedera, also be yorid la'ilpus, shekvar yorid la'kedera, kodem sheyorid la'ilpus, right, exactly. Before it goes, wait, oh my god. Alright, friends, starting over. Beginning of the Gemara. Sorry, it's a little confusing actually, but beginning of the Gemara. Tanya, we're learning the Brisa. No domina yored l'kedera. Somebody says he's not going to get benefit from anything that goes into a pot. Also be yored la'ilpus, so you also can't get benefit from things that go into an ilpus, into a pan. Shekvar yored l'kedera kodem shored la'ilpus. Because it already went into a pot before it goes into a pan. So memele, if it goes into the pan, it already went into the pot. Mina yored la'ilpus. If he says that he's not going to get benefit from something that goes into a pan, mutter biyor the kedera, so you can get benefit from things that go into a pot, as long as it doesn't go into the pan. But if he says that anything that's made in a pot, well then mutter benaisa beilpus. Well then he's just not allowed to get benefit from things in a pot, but he can get benefit from things in a pan. Benaisa beilpus. If he says from things that are made in a pan, mutter benaisa b'kedera. So you can't get benefit from things made in a pan, but you can get benefit from things made in a pot. I know them in a yard the toner. Somebody who says he's not going to get benefit from anything that goes into an oven, ain't osir ela b'pas. So he's only forbidden from getting benefit from bread. Remember, kol ma'aseh toner olai osir b'chol anaisim b'toner. But if he says anything that's made in an oven, well then he can't get benefit from anything that's made in an oven. Now we get to a new Mishnah. Min ha'kavush. A fellow says he's not going to get benefit from anything preserved. In also element of kavush yerek, then he's only not allowed to get benefit from like preserved vegetables, maybe like a kimchi or something. Kavush anitoim, but if he says I'm not going to taste any preserved stuff, also b'chol ha'kavushim, then he can't get benefit from any of the preserved stuff. Min hashaluk, from anything that is like somewhat cooked. And also ella min hashaluk shel basar, he's only not allowed to get benefit from this like somewhat cooked meat. Shaluk sha'anitoim, if he says I'm not going to get benefit from, taste any shaluk, also b'chol ha'shlukim, then he's not allowed to get benefit from any shlukim, from anything that's like somewhat cooked. Says the Gemara, Amr Rav Achabe de Rav Avia Rav Ashi Amr dikavish mai. What if instead of saying min hakavush, he says dikavush? So then what? Dishalik mai. What if he says dishalik? Ditzali mai. Dimaliach mai. Eichin mashma. Tibai. We say ich weiß nicht. Says the Mishnah, min atzali ein osir ella min atzali shel basar. If he says he's not going to get benefit from things that are roasted, so it's only referring to roasted meat. Tiv Rabbi Yehuda, that's Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Tzali shani toim. If he says he's not going to taste any meat, so any roasted stuff, also b'chol atzluyim, then he can't get benefit from anything roasted. Min amaliach. If he says he's not going to get benefit from the salted stuff, ein osir ella min amaliach shel dog. That's salted fish. Maliach sha'ani toim, if he says he's not going to taste any salted stuff, also b'chol mluchim, then he can't get benefit from anything salted. Dogim sha'ani toim, if he says that I'm not going to have any fish, dogim sha'ani toim, also b'ayin, he can't have any fish, ben gedolim, ben ketanim, big fish, small fish, ben meluchim, ben tfalim, salted fish, plain fish, ben chaim, ben mevushalim, live, raw fish, cooked fish, mutar b'taris trufa, but he can have, trufa is, what was trufa again? Maybe I should have written this down. Trufa is, chopped. So where am I? So ben chaim ben mevushalim mutar b'taris trufa, chopped taris, uvatzir uvamurias, and fish brine and fish juice. It sounds great. I know them in atzachno. If a fellow says he's not going to have any tzachno, also b'taris trufa, he's not allowed to have any chopped taris, umutar b'tzir uvamurias, but he can have brine and fish juice. I know them in taris trufa. Somebody says he's not going to get any benefit from chopped taris. Also, b'tzir of murias, he's not allowed to get benefit from brine and fish juice. Tanya says the Gemara, we learn in the Brayso, Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Omer says Reb Shimon ben Elazar, dog sha'ani toyim. If he says he's not going to get any dog, so also b'gedolim mutar b'getanim. So he can't eat big fish, but he can eat small fish. Dogo sha'ani toyim. If he says dogo, so also b'getanim mutar b'gedolim. So he can't have small fish, but he's allowed to have big fish. Dogo shani toim. If he says dog and dogos, then that's the big fish and the small fish. So also ben migdolim ben bigtanim, said he can't have big or small fish. There Papa Labaye. Papa says to Labaye, "Mighty dog shani toim gadol." Who? How come we're assuming that dog is referring to a big fish? Tichsev, is it because it's written Vaymanashem dog gadol of loyas yena? Is it because when it comes to Yonah, it says that the Eibishter sent a dog gadol, a big fish? So we see that dog equals big. But it says that Yonah prayed to the Eibishter from inside the daga. So that seems like that it's the same fish, right? The same big fish. Even his daga as well. Halokasha, no, that's no problem. Duma palte dagadu vale dagkain. Maybe initially he was eaten by a big fish, but then the big fish swallowed a small fish, and I guess he was in the small fish. Okay? Or maybe he was in the small fish and then the big fish swallowed it. So somebody was basically in a small fish and a big fish, so he was in a big fish and a small fish at the same time. But in fact, the Gemara, it says by the dam. It says by the blood. It says by the blood in Egypt, by the plague of blood in Egypt. So it says that all the fish in the sea died. So it says daga. So does that imply that only the small fish died, but the big fish didn't die? Of course not. All the fish died. Rather, daga could refer to big fish and small fish. However, that is the key of all this stuff, is that when it comes to vows, you go after the way that people talk. So even though technically, biblically speaking, daga could be a reference to big and small fish, but people, when they say daga, they're referring to small fish. When they say dog, they're referring to big fish. And therefore, when by Nedarim, if a fellow says dog, it means big fish. If he says daga, it means small fish. Alright? What if the fellow says that I'm not going to get benefit from tzichin? Is that like tzachna, or is it something else? The Gemara says, ich weiß nicht. Friends, that was Daf Nun Aleph of Masechta Nedarim. I hope you enjoy. Peace out.